All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Vibes Alive Radio Show podcast. Hanging with my boy Nate Ostrowski, and we're talking about music with a purpose. It is a new initiative. It's something that I think is really awesome. So we're here to talk a little bit about the background, how it got started, your involvement with it, and how we can help you support the cause and some of the music and shows that you're currently doing, which are also helping support music with the cause. So what up, man? How you doing? How's your day? How's everything?
Life's good, man. Life's good. Staying busy.
Good. So, um, I met you probably I don't know at this point. I'm guessing 5 years ago ish. And it's been a cool path to see you've done
Yep.
a lot of different things over that time. And recently you've kind of come together with this I'm going to call it organization, a cause, a purpose, music with a purpose. Um, how did that start? What made you kind of want to put something together for the community at large?
It's been 5 years. In 2019, I think was my musical journey year where I was able to network and be really involved in the music, um, and just make a lot of good connections. COVID happened, music just kind of was hard to come by, for live shows and stuff like that. But um, I've always had a love of music. Music has helped me out through a lot of stuff. So it's a passion of mine. Anything related, especially reggae music. So I had some transition time in my life and kind of had to go back and step back and deal with some personal things. But I had a life changing experience with the medicine that we work with the veterans. Like I said, we'll go into that a little bit later. But for me, it was I wanted to get back into the music, helping. I enjoyed being involved in this scene. So, we need a little transformation, a little, spice. Here in Tucson, a lot of the venues that we used to have kind of went the route of the college kids and DJs, and so live music in general here in Tucson is struggling, especially nothing like it used to be. So, um, in my journey, like the last 2 years, I wanted to get back into it, but I also wanted to, after my experience with the medicine, I found a purpose in how can I use reggae music and helping people and veterans. So that's kind of where the music with the purpose came about. Just
And
wanting to
how
be
how
back involved in it especially good.
no, I was just saying, how long have you been working on this at this point? Like, uh, yeah, in general.
In general,
Yeah.
I'd say it started in about September of October last year. Yeah,
Okay.
did my first show in November with Luna Shade, the brothers Dobra Sound and Billy Chill. So that was the first show that I put on was in November. So it's we're just starting, but with that first show that I did, we raised enough money to send a veteran down to Mexico, which is for me it was one of the most rewarding experiences. Being able to put on a show, bring in good bands, take care of the bands, and just bring the community together for the cause of helping veterans. It was mind blowing how much support there was for that. So, but like I said, last October, so 4 months,
So let's talk about that a little
maybe
bit.
a little less.
What does it mean? I know you shared some pictures, and we can share those with everyone. But when you say you send them to Mexico, what does that mean? Like what happens down in Mexico? What is that journey like? What was the what's kind of the process for healing that happens in Mexico?
So for me, I went down to Mexico, and that was that life changing event I was talking about earlier. I hit a rough part in my life and was at the lowest of lows. But when we go down to Mexico, we go to the Seri tribe down there, and we uh, we go down there, and it is a process of different medicines through the days. So we take them down there, and the medicine that we use is called Bufo. So the veteran goes down. They do actually a couple different medicines, changa. They do combo, which is they do a purge to clean out your system, and then you do two ceremonies of Bufo, which is 5-MeO DMT. And there's a big push for veterans using psychedelics to help with their PTSD, to help with their brain and head injuries and stuff. So the last veteran we took down, his name was Augie. He had numerous head injuries, but you go down there, and you just have to commit to it. But yeah, there's Augie right there. Um, so you just spend, Augie went down there for 4 days, and you just do different medicines, and the Seri people, the people down there are just amazing people. And so Healing Frontline Heroes is the nonprofit that Music with a Purpose donates to. So our Healing Frontline Heroes was started by an Army veteran named Mike, and he was the one that introduced me and took me down to Mexico. Um, and in Mexico, when I went down, there's Augie right there in the middle. Um, on the right is Mike, and then our brother John on the left right there. All veterans. But a lot of these veterans that go down, especially Augie, he was having so many problems and so many issues with the VA and getting the help he needed. But for him, it was this is my last chance. This is my, you know, I'm crazy for doing this, but I've done everything else. But go down there, and when you do the bufo and the medicine, it completely helps you let go of past traumas, and let things go. We carry around a lot of things in life that we don't need to. So with those veterans, they're able to go down there and just let everything that they've been searching for help with, and they're able to let that go, and have a different understanding and a different purpose. And so for me, purpose is the big word for me. Is when I was down in Mexico, that's where I found my purpose, and my transformation, being going from a selfish person to a selfless person. So it's like, how can I help people? Um, and so for me, helping veterans, um, we were talking about earlier, helping our music community, our live music here, and just also helping bands and supporting the bands when they come through. Um, you know, I'm doing things a little different to where I'm here to accommodate the bands and take best care of them. But it's a full circle thing, because we also help the Seri tribe down there. We bring revenue. Healing Frontline Heroes, we take donations and take them down there, school supplies. So, and it was just one night I was home, and my mind was just running. And I said, how about doing music to help veterans, to help the indigenous tribe down there. For me, it was just a full circle thing where everybody can benefit from it. Um, and so after, it was great putting on the show and doing all that for the show, but for me, the most rewarding part was the veteran going down and coming back. He stayed the night at my house and just hearing his story. So for me, that's my drive to it. How many people, how many veterans can we send down there using music, using
Right.
reggae, having people come out and have a fun night, but then also see that just coming and having a fun night and enjoying music, it goes further than that. It's not just stops at the show. And so for
Right.
me, I want everybody that comes to the show to say, look at, hey, I helped this veteran.
So do you have a lot of people reaching out at this point, or how do people get in touch with you if it's something that they, are looking for some help, that maybe they are working with VA or anybody locally that they haven't had success with, or how do people get in touch when, obviously, if you start being able to roll out more shows and you're able to kind of get bigger funds to help more people if they need, or you already, kind of inundated with people that you're trying to help at this point?
Well, that when I first started this, I didn't have anybody. I'm like, I'm gonna find a veteran. I don't care where I find them from. I'm gonna send the veteran down. So I
Right.
didn't have anybody in mind, but after this time, I got, 4 or 5 veterans that have hit me up on Music with a Purpose's page, um, asking. I had somebody ask, hey, do you guys teach veterans music? Or, and then I told them, some people think we're crazy, but tell them exactly what we do. We send veterans down to go heal using psychedelics. Um, you know, I've now, like I said, I got about 4 or 5 veterans that have asked me about it, that are interested as I reach out to people to tell people about the show. I made a post yesterday. Watch out, I'm going to be up in your inbox. I told them what we do, and I have people respond. I know somebody who could benefit from this. And so for me, some people are veterans are nah, those crazy people doing weird stuff. But once, if a fan of reggae music knows a veteran that's suffering, what better way to be like, hey, why don't you come to a show with me? Why don't you come talk to some people that are here helping veterans? So just last night I had somebody say, "Oh, I know somebody that can benefit from this." So it's crazy, just barely getting it put out there. There's been a big response to it.
Right.
So
Well,
as
I
the
mean, I
list
would think
continues
so.
to grow of veterans, yeah, exactly. And as the list continues to grow, it just gives me more of a drive to keep doing these shows and make them bigger and bigger and send as many veterans as we can.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I think it's, a lot of people go to shows. I mean, I know personally the reason I've gone to as many shows as I try to go to, and now at this point playing and being as involved as I am, it's like it's therapeutic. It keeps me in a place of, like, it's my religion, is, and it's cliche, whatever, whatever, but like that's where I go to rejoice and be with people and celebrate a common good, right? And it's amazing because in that crowd there's so many people
Oh,
that you have no idea what they stand for, what they believe. It doesn't actually matter what they stand for or what they believe or what their stories are. You're all there for that common purpose. And then if you can take that and really help benefit somebody who didn't either know, about what you guys are doing, or that there was an option for this kind of therapy, because it is very much therapy that folks are, I think, coming around to. And it's, it's one of those things I wish was a little bit more commonplace, not for commercialism reasons, but because when things, like, almost
oh,
like if you think about weed and cannabis in general, even 15 years ago, there was a few dispensaries here and there. Getting a license was a big thing. Getting a card was a big thing, and recreational was a thought that would never happen. So, we look
Right.
fast forward now, and there's many states where it's legal. It's pretty much medical and almost everywhere. And the amount of care that goes into these products, the amount of testing that goes into these products, the amount of, that's like one of the biggest benefits to me in regards to like the cannabis industries. It's like you know exactly what you're going to get from a trusted source. And I think with this type of therapy, it's not that it needs to be a doctor, but it would be really nice. And I think give some people reassurance for the big unknown if there was a little bit more access, right? Because I'm sure like when you say it to people, it's not meant for shock factor, but it provides that because they're like, oh dude, like I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna trust who? And I'm gonna let my deepest, darkest secrets out and basically be cleansed and renewed. Yeah, right. And so it's like having
Yeah.
something that can help, because it's all I think it's a lot faith based, right? I mean, it is science and it does do what it does and rewire what it rewires, but you've got to have a little bit of a brochure. And I think, it's amazing to see how it's been helping veterans in particular. I know Bob Parsons, PXG, they did a bunch of stuff, or might still be doing a lot of stuff regarding that exact same thing. Um, so it's interesting to hear these people getting behind it. But to bring it down to the level of the local level, which is what I think is always super important because at the end of the day, at these shows, there are neighbors, it's our community, it's the people we're around most. And knowing that there's resources that go beyond the show is what that whole long rant was about is really, really super important. So I commend you for what you're doing. And I hope people realize that it's not, um, I mean, currently I'm promoting a show and I've done a lot of radio stuff. I don't promote a lot of shows. And it's like selling tickets is hard. Putting on a show itself is pretty difficult. Making sure you have all the ends tied up and done right is pretty difficult. And I think then when you add a charity aspect onto it, and then you also add sending somebody out of the country for this type of therapy is like a lot more to it. So commend you, dude. That's a lot of work, and it's it doesn't go unnoticed. I mean, all I get to see is pretty much all the social stuff, but having known you throughout the years and seeing, uh I think your stance on social media very, very much in an enlightened space now where, you're able to kind of show that you're, you know, a product of this type of therapy, which I think is really cool. I mean, not that you weren't great before, but to see, I mean, I feel like you're very much at peace, if I'm able to say that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I don't know. I can see that. So like that's what I'm saying. If
Yeah.
more people
Yeah.
knew and they had the background, they would feel the full context, right?
Yeah.
That's cool though.
Yeah. Well, shoot, if and yeah, I mean, I and you nailed it right on the head. I'm more at peace, and my experience was completely life changing and gave me a different outlook on life. I can look back and say, man, I'm so much happier now. And I'm more focused. More focused on helping people, and I appreciate that as well. And you touched on something, saying talking about going to shows, and I'm completely with you that going music, live music is I say my church. That's where I find my peace, and
Yep.
I heal through music. And you also said it. Reggae brings. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are, what your you know everybody's going to have different opinions, different beliefs, but we can put those aside at a show and come together and enjoy music. The chaos of the world's out there. Come together, enjoy music, and being able to help people as well.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that I can sit here with people that I disagree with, and we can enjoy music. But also being able to share a story. If you got a story, it's tell it. You're gonna have the crazy stuff and you're gonna have the good stuff. But I'm not ashamed of my story, and I'm here to tell people, this worked for me. Everybody should know about it, but it isn't for everybody.
Right.
And I tell people that have done the medicine as well. It's selfish of us not to tell people everybody needs it.
Yeah.
But what one thing you said, one thing I hate as the word spreads is they get commercialized. With this kind of medicine, that could stay out of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's it's here. It's here.
Yeah.
It's an option. It's an option, and for some,
And I don't mean it for
especially
the
veterans, it's their
factory.
life.
Yeah, I just mean it for the sheer amount of people it could help. Not necessarily for the corporate
Oh
machine
yeah,
to keep doing what it's doing. Like, I don't want to buy pot at
yeah,
7-Eleven. That's not the goal, but
yeah,
or for people to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go, this weekend I'm gonna go pick up a clean spiritual cleanse right here at Circle K." No, like that's no. But I do think that it's interesting. Like I've met a lot of people lately, and people that I would never, that even I'm not even like comfortable just sometimes relaxing in casual conversation with, right? But these people have gone into these quote unquote journeys, guided journeys, through different sorts of levels of psychedelic therapy, and come out on the other side with a bit of an acknowledgement. Maybe, like it's a toe in the water probably compared to a full in-depth, journey like this, or like an ayahuasca trip or iboga or any of those types of things. But it's becoming more and more acceptable to not be okay with our generational wounds. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that will help change everybody moving forward, because it's one thing to accept, circumstances and the card that you're dealt and the things that you deal with in present day. But when you acknowledge how much of that you inherently do because of things that are just automatic, or yeah, I mean, it's just like an automated response of this, angst or feeling, or shadow or fear or disbelief or lack of confidence or vulnerability that a lot of people don't want because they somehow have this, what I guess I'm calling generational scarring. If that's the correct term or not, I don't know. But for me, like, I know I carry a lot of stuff. And if I could just one day take it and say it's gone and buried far away, that'd be great. But the only way to get there is to go through and do the work. And they don't realize what I'm getting at is, I'm glad we got here. But what I'm trying to say is, like, the psychedelics do not remove the effort that you have to go through to get to the other side to be better off for it. And as much as people can dabble and be comfortable, it's great that they're dabbling and getting comfortable, because it allows the conversation to happen, and it will allow people that maybe can be bigger sponsors or donors or things of that nature to help larger amounts of people. But what it shows, even with that little footstep, is that if you're only dealing with one event or one piece of your life, that if you could do it in such a stronger transformational way, it would end up coming out on the other side a completely different person. And so if we can all acknowledge that we could be a better person by just looking inwards, by ways in which we can't do ourselves, which is ultimately the best purpose of, to me, a drug or
yeah,
a medicine, is to provide something that you cannot do on your own with your greatest effort. Like, you cannot make yourself visualize, really visualize, or take yourself to the place you need to get to, or the brutal honesty and vulnerability that comes with some of these things. But, it's also doing it in the right environment. and knowing the right people in the right places. And so again, I think, it's very thoughtful how you're doing this because um music itself can be a home and a shelter, and that's what we're talking about in terms of like the religion, the safe place, right? That's by the way, that's the name of the new
Yeah,
bar I want to open if I ever open up, but not like a bar, like a chill lounge smoke out thing. And really what I want to do is, if we can say it, a manifesto, right? Right outside of Last Exit Live, there's that old restaurant that nobody's ever been in. And I would love to see that be like this wonderful chill spot and call it the safe place. Anyway, completely sidetracked. It's gonna
yeah.
happen
Great,
one
great
day. One
idea.
day, one day, one day.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
But
gotta put it out there. Gotta put it out there.
yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know how it came back
But
up again, but I was talking to somebody about it earlier. But the right place to do it, and kind of the branch off of a show, and also being around the people as if it was a show, in terms of the people that are administering medicine at this point are so knowledgeable within that space that even though it's so foreign to us, it is a lot of what all they know. And so while there's few true practitioners, um yeah, it's just interesting. Yeah, I don't want to take back saying commercialized, but I do wish it was more widespread, because I think this world would just be a better
yeah, no,
place.
no,
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
and you nailed it on the head. You called it past traumas, or past generational, what was it, curses, or
Generational scars, wounds.
and
Yeah.
that's the thing. Yeah. So, that when I was talking about carrying around those things that don't serve you and able to let go, those are the exact things that you feel them, you accept them, you acknowledge them, but the most important part is you let it go. And a lot of the work, I tell people, don't go in there looking for answers. The reality of it, for me, the way I see it is, we go to that space to let go of the things that don't serve us, rewire our minds so that when we come back into this reality with our struggles that we have, with the things we face daily, we have a different outlook, and we're carrying around less stuff with us. So we have a
Yeah.
more clear mind to better yourself. You let go of that old stuff, it don't serve you. So, that's one thing a lot of people carry around, and it's tough. It's tough, having
Yeah.
that space. And, we can go to a show, and that's our safe space. But in
Hmm.
order to grow as people, we got to push ourselves out of that vulnerable, like you said. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful if you're willing to put in that work. It ain't easy, but it's rewarding. It's
Yeah.
rewarding, and
Yeah.
that circles back to the show. Putting together these shows, it's not easy, but it's rewarding. You got to put in the work, you know.
Yeah.
But
So let's talk
everybody
about.
needs it. Everybody, the worst. I tell people the worst. Yeah, go ahead.
No, no, sorry. There's a little bit of a delay on my end. I was just gonna say, let's talk about the next show coming up, because you guys have a show with Tropic Vibration and A1 Reggae at the Rock on the 26th. It's actually scrolling right here. Hey, it's like I'm reading a teleprompter. But I wasn't. I'm really excited for that, though. I know,
And the
this
conveyors.
and the conveyors. Okay, see, I missed them on there. We should fix that. I should fix that on my banner. Hang on. I'm gonna fix
Yeah,
it.
the conveyors. Yeah,
Okay. But talk about that
I
one.
just
So
caught that right now.
that's gonna be a good show. I mean, all of those bands are Arizona. Yeah, there you go. Fixed. All those bands are really great. I know. See, I think one of those things too, just talking about like the people in a crowd, there's a melting pot that comes together with a show like that. The Conveyors are obviously a great band all around. I think Tropic Vibration and the way that they have taken like a lot of different influences to what most some would consider reggae, and it's just a reggae influence in my opinion, and a lot of different sounds connected to that. and then A1 being more of that root sound. So it's like bringing in a lot of people, again, from different backgrounds for the same common cause. And I hope that people that, would, and I know there's some out there, especially, they're like, no, roots reggae and it's only this sound and that's all it's going to be. And this is the only meaning it can have. When they have an opportunity to experience something like Tropic Vibration or the Conveyors or many of these other bands that are out here, they will see that there is a new avenue if you're willing to accept the fact that not every band is trying to be reggae as much as it is um trying to be themselves with an expression of reggae in the mix, because that allowed them to, it opened the door to a creation and of a sound that never existed before. So um super excited for that, for you guys, for everybody out there getting that, because that's a cool combination. It's a great lineup. I know Conveyors and Tropic Vibration just played a show recently in Southern California, which is awesome. So Arizona spreading some love out there, man. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely,
All
and
right.
and and it was fun putting together this show because of that variety, and it's all reggae, and the evolution of it. It was fun. It was fun. So it'd be a fun show.
Awesome. So if people want to get tickets, where will they find them? Just Eventbrite, Facebook page. Where's the best place to go?
There's tickets up on
We're out. Sorry, I cut out.
Eventbrite. There's some tickets.
Okay.
Eventbrite.
Yeah. Well,
Just go to
yeah.
Music
Y'all
with a
get
Purpose on Eventbrite, and you can. It's
perfect. Well, thank you
Yep.
for being here, man. Thank
And
you
if
for
you're
doing what you're doing. Sorry.
absolutely, brother. Thank you for having me. Thank you for providing the platform. Damn a cat.
Yeah.
But awesome, brother.
cat's
Thank
about to
you.
cat's about to attack you. Be safe.
Guys.
Right on, brother. Well, thank you. And hey, guys, get your
All right,
tickets.
brother. Thank you very
Support
much, man.
Music with a Purpose. Much love, man. Much love.